God, I pray that we don't take it for granted, God. It's not just another song, but it's a chance to have an encounter, God. I pray that we would have those encounters with you, God. We would just be hungry for you, God. And we would create an atmosphere where you're welcome, where we could host you, God. We could invite you in, God. So we didn't come just to sing, but we came to meet you. And Lord, I pray that we would open our eyes and our spirit to see that, Lord. And I pray that we would be filled, God, with your everlasting Holy Spirit that has come to comfort us, God. And I praise you, God, and I lift you up. And I pray tonight, God, we're just eye-opening, God, for us. As we come in here together and we hunger together. In your name I pray. Amen. Did you be dismissed? You.
That's amazing. That's unbelievable. We overuse that word unbelievable. No way. I was eating some deer sausage with a buddy. He's like, man, this deer sausage, it is unbelievable. No, it's not. Just say it. It's just a good piece of deer sausage, man. It's not unbelievable. Now, if the bald eagle wearing a tuxedo flew down and dropped some deer sausage in your mouth, yeah, that's unbelievable right there. I'll give you that. That is unbelievable. Because that's a bald eagle wearing a tux dropping sausage in your mouth. You don't see something like that every day. Unless you're a Catholic, they see stuff like that all the time, but not a normal person. They're like, ah! friend, this is the worst. The only thing that I can think of right now. Let me finish, please. The only thing, DC about right now, the only thing that I can think of right now that could possibly be worse than this is, you know, sometime when you're at the mall and your friends aren't there to meet you yet, and you want to go shopping but you can't, so you gotta wait around on the car for like 10 minutes or something. I tell you what, this is not my friend, but that is the worst right there. That is the worst.
We're going to go ahead and start that PowerPoint up there, but you know, we take things out of context. It's like everything is so bad, it's so horrible, and it's so awful, and you know, sometimes it's the least little thing that steals our joy, and the devil's just loving that, and he can trip you up over your coffee being spilled. And I think I was driving to work one time in the old Ford Ranger that he used to have, and I carry big iced coffee every morning and carry stuff. Man, I'm turning, and like it floods, like it flips under my feet. There's like 10 gallons in the floorboard. I didn't even know it would hold that much of the and you know what? You know what I did? I got there and kicked that ice out. I was upset a little bit because I didn't have any coffee to drink. But other than that, that was fine. It was on my pants. But you know, I'm not losing my mind over coffee. In Nehemiah, do you remember, some of you were in here when I taught Nehemiah, we went all the way through it. But Nehemiah, you know, he leaves and he's going to build the walls of Jerusalem, right? And so what he does is he goes to Jerusalem. He gets permission to leave the Babylonian kingdom where he was at, and he gets to go back to Jerusalem, and they give him all the authority to build the walls back. And they do it in record time. Like something that couldn't be done in like 80 years is done in 52 days. You understand the difference in the favor of God not having the favor of God. I mean, that is a big difference because the people, they were unified under one cause and under one leader. And I kind of like Nehemiah's style because he didn't really take a whole lot of junk off people. When he comes back one time and he catches some guys in the city that ain't supposed to be there, he just beats them, rips the beard out, and throws them all out of the city, and he kind of just cleans house because he's kind of an authoritative kind of guy. But at the end, what happens is they're all gathered around, and Ezra comes out and he opens up the book of the law, and he starts reading the law. And when the people realize how far they've fallen from what God commanded, they begin to weep. They begin to cry because they realize they're so far from what they're supposed to be. And this is what Ezra tells them. Look here. Then Nehemiah, the governor, Ezra the priest, and the teacher of the law, and the Levites who were instructing the people, said to them all, "This day is holy to the Lord your God. Do not mourn and weep." For all the people had been weeping as they listened to the words of the law. Nehemiah said, "Go and enjoy choice food and sweet drinks, and send some to those who have nothing prepared. This day is holy to our Lord. Do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength." For the joy of the Lord is your strength. So if I lose my joy, what do I lose? I'll lose my strength. If the joy of the Lord is my strength, and I lose my joy, then I lose my strength. And isn't that so accurate? Because once you lose your joy, it's hard to get up and go. You get up and go, so I got up and went. And it's amazing to me that during difficult times, and oftentimes of battle, the one thing that is the hardest to have is the one thing that brings us strength. So I mean, I'm going through a battle, it's difficult, it's tough right now. Well, where's your joy at? I don't have any joy, Pastor. Well, where's your strength at? I don't have any, Pastor. If you can get your joy back, you can get your peace back. See, he could have said this, he could have said, "The love of the Lord is your strength." That'd been good. I like that, Caper. That's pretty good. How about the authority of the Lord is your strength? Yes. He's up on his throne. Like Acts chapter 2 says, that all the kings conspire together, and they come and they say, "Let us overthrow him." And it says, "He who's on the throne joy, you lose your strength. I'm telling you, when people get depressed, they lose their joy, and guess what they can't do? They can't get up and do nothing. They can't face it. See, if the devil steals your joy, what the bad thing is he really doesn't steal your strength, you just surrender it. And how sad is it sometimes when we allow our joy to be taken by work? Man, I've been there. By stress, busyness. And then we can't even find the joy in our family anymore. And that's when you got to start taking notice. When your family ain't bringing you joy, it's like, hey, I need to get something fixed. I need to go where I need to go. I need to be with the Lord. I need to get it taken care of. See, we lose our joy, and it's like this. It's like running a car without gas. Okay, you can do that. I mean, as long as you ain't on the downhill side. You can run a car without gas, and it may roll downhill, but it won't win the race, and it won't travel long distance. You're not going to make it without your joy. You're not going to make it without your strength. It will eventually leave you broken down, and it will leave you void of purpose. And I've seen so many people go to dark places, dark places, disappointed in themselves, disappointed in life, let down because you're looking at Facebook and you're looking at everybody's highlight reel and you're thinking that everybody's living this king life that you're missing out on. And you start comparing yourself to them and seeing what they're doing. And next thing you know, you're just laying around and you don't want to do anything because your joy's gone. It's tough. That's when you got rid of Facebook. T.D. Jakes said this. He said, we need to celebrate our season. We need to celebrate our season. Whatever season we're in. For me right now, my season is 36. And so I'm celebrating 36 as much as I can. It don't feel like 26, unfortunately, so I got to really focus, right? But in order to do that, we have to let go of the previous one. See, everything I have has an expiration date. Everything. Everything in this life is progressive and heading toward finality. My soul will live on, but everything else has a beginning and has an ending. So I need to enjoy the seasons as they come. And not only serve in my season, I need to celebrate my season. I don't want a season where I just come home and just lay around. And I don't want to look back at a season that's dead and go, hey, nothing grew during that season. I didn't celebrate that season. See, there's a lot of different things that are going to come at you in different seasons of life. Things that you're not expecting. Things that you didn't hope for sometimes. But you know what? There's a lot of good in that season. And it's all about, I got to put the perspective on and remember that my joy is in Jesus. After T.D. Jakes, I was listening to him this morning, after he said that, and he said we need to celebrate our season, he said something that really stuck to me. And it got me to the core. This is what he said. He said, age gave me something that youth never could. Think about that. Age gave me something that youth never could. You know what? I am smarter now than I've ever been. And I'm still not real smart, but I'm a lot smarter than I used to be. Amen. We don't want season 3 of our marriage at season 16. You know, we've overcome some things. I don't want season 3 or season 2 of ministry when I've been doing it for almost 20 years. I want the season that I'm in. And there's so much that comes from that. I mean, I've seen some things that only come. I've seen great love at this season. I've seen babies born. I felt the surprise of young people dying, where it shocks you to the core. I've seen the tears as old ones pass. I've been a son and I've been a grandson. I watched my dad become a grandfather, and I became a father, and my grandfathers passed on. And then Elijah became a son and a grandson. And we just see this circle of life coming, seasons and seasons and seasons. And I'm saying you got to celebrate your season or you'll lose your joy. See, life comes in seasons. And life may be lived looking forward. They say it's lived looking forward, but it's learned looking back. Well, you can't live looking back. We love to look at the past, and what we do is we look at the past and we celebrate our victories in the past, and we forget our burdens, our tears, the things that happened to us. We forget those things because as quick as we can forget the bad times, we want to. And so we'll look at the past and say, man, remember how the past was so great. And if you went back, you realize, it really wasn't as great as I thought it was. You know, I've had a lot of joy stolen by dwelling on small things instead of focusing on the big God. I've been in dark places and felt hopeless. I've been lonely in a crowded room. Happiness has come and gone. So So what I'm saying is don't lose your joy because it's your strength. If I got joy, I've got hope. But if I lose joy, you'll lose hope. And you know how you'll know you lost hope? When you quit reaching for things. When you quit trying new things. When you quit trying to set goals for yourself. When you're just coming home and existing. Then you realize, hey, I've lost my joy. See, when you're beat down, discouraged, brokenhearted, and defeated, what is the one common thing that the devil has stolen from you? It's your joy. When you're overwhelmed and your marriage is rocky and unsatisfying, what do you lose? My joy. I just don't feel like I used to about you. I'm just not excited about what? It's because your joy's gone. When the kids kept misbehaving, you were giving your best. What did you lose? You lost your joy. I've seen my sister-in-law lose her joy a few times with her kids. It's your joy. And if you can't ever find joy in the midst of your struggle, you won't survive. Because when joy, if you find it in the midst of your struggle, you will survive, because when your joy comes back, you're able to get your feet back under you. You're able to get up and walk forward. Think about it. Have you ever been depressed? You ever been down and then all of a sudden you got over it? It's literally like this. You get up and it's just like everything's removed. All the darkness is gone. I've got hope. Maybe you had a bad test result or something like that. And you go back to the doctor and he says, you know what? I looked at it again and it's fine. And then all of a sudden it's like, let's go. Let's go out and do what we're going to do. Yesterday I thought I was dying, but today I'm alive, and it's because my joy puts motion into my body. And it's hard to battle when you don't have strength. So why would the devil work so hard to steal your joy? Because if he has your joy, he has your strength. If this place here, if our church, if we could get the joy back, the purpose would increase. If you get the joy back, the purpose will increase. Because when you've got joy, you've got purpose. It's like, okay, what am I going to do today? Oh, I can't wait to see if I can do this. Oh, I can't wait to try this. Oh, to go after this, to shoot after this. I've got hope and I've got dream. Because if you don't have joy, you won't have none of those things. You saw, when you have joy, if you get back to the joy back, the purpose will increase, because joy gives you a clear vision and it makes you optimistic. And you start reaching for things you're not even certain you can catch. It makes us so optimistic because we're like, you know what, it don't matter, let's go for it. Let's do it. We've got it. We can be that way. It's because I'm excited about it. I'm not worried about nothing. I'm just pressing forward. T.D. Jakes said this. He said, it's the crushing of the grape that brings forth the wine. The crushing of the grape brings forth the wine. A grape will not endure. If you get a grape, you lay it out here, it'll shrivel up, it'll die, it'll mold, whatever they do. I've seen them in the fridge a few times, you know, they just get nasty after a while. They shrivel up and they rot. But when it's crushed, it produces wine. And it continues to endure. And it gets sweeter with age. The crushing produces the new product. The crushing produces the new product. Wine is much more costly than grape, and it carries a higher value. But it does it at the expense of the grape. In your life, you're going to have difficult things that are going to try to rob your joy. It's going to crush you. But what you choose to do with that will be determined by what you choose to put your focus on. So cling to your joy and understand that crushing is producing something new and something better. All right, now, so you can't really talk about losing your joy and the difficulty of that without going to Psalm 51. Now, Psalm 51 is the psalm of redemption, and it's the psalm of confession. So this psalm was written after the whole debacle with David and Bathsheba. Okay? This is where creating me a clean heart, O God, renew a right spirit within me. That verse comes from Psalm 51. Now David here, he is at the end of a spiritual battle that he has not only lost, but he's lost greatly. He's lost greatly. He's committed adultery. Pretty bad. He's lied about it. Pretty bad. He tried to hide it. He killed Uriah the Hittite to hide his secret pregnancy with Bathsheba. And now, because of his evil ways, his child has died, and he is a broken man. And he is laid on the floor. And they said they didn't even want to tell David that the baby had died for fear of what he might do. He might be drastic. And they come there and they tell him, and he gets up, and he cleans himself up, and he goes back to work. He said, well, I've done everything I can do. I made penance with the Lord, and now I've got to move on. And he's laying on the floor up to this point. And then he writes this song, and I'm not going to show you the whole song. You can go back and read it, that's pretty good. But verse 8, let me hear joy and gladness. Let the bones you have crushed rejoice. He says, I need my joy back. I've been down too long. I've been out too long. I've given up too much hope. He says, hide your face from my sins and blot out all my iniquity. Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. And do not cast me from your presence or take your Holy Spirit from me. He is returning to the Lord. He says, restore to me the joy of your salvation and grant me a willing spirit to sustain me. He understands that in order to get back upon his feet and to live again, he's got to have his joy. And how often do we live each day without joy, without purpose? He says, I need my joy back. Restoring joy is essential to restoring the body. Do you know that you can have cancer and still have joy? You can. I've seen my friend Michael Moore, and he's dying. I hated it. I hated every second of it. And he had joy. When the joy returned, you know who else returned? David returned. I want you to look at the next verse. I have here, open to Psalm 51 there. And it's this, restore to me the joy of your salvation. That was the one we just read. And grant me a willing spirit to sustain me. Then look at 13. Then I will teach transgressors your ways, so that sinners will turn back to you. See, when you get your joy restored, it's so that you can help others. And you can't help others if your joy's gone. If you're hopeless and you're walking around moping, how good are you to anybody else? Yeah, nobody wants to be around you. When he restores the joy of his salvation, he says, I'll be able to teach others to turn back to you. But see, it's hard to lead others to places that you're not. It's like, oh, make me feel good, Pastor. What if I don't feel good? You know? Make me happy, Pastor. Make me happy. David says, I need the joy of my salvation back. But if you will restore me, I will help others come back to you. See, when you're in the dark, it's impossible to bring others to the light. Look at this verse in Proverbs. The prospect of the righteous is joy, but the hope of the wicked comes to nothing. Wicked people, they hope in a lot of things. But true joy is the prospect of the righteous. It's something that's birthed in and through us. It is essential to our life in Christ. And you know what it is? It's a byproduct of our life in Christ. But too many times, what do? We get caught up in struggles, and the first thing we allow to leave is our joy. You struggle. I know. I struggle. I struggle. It's hard for me sometimes. And I'll let my joy go. And then I won't realize it at first. But too many times we get caught up in our struggle, and the first thing we allow to leave is our joy. So the devil loves that, because if my joy is gone, my strength's gone. And when our joy leaves, often our health leaves. We start feeling bad. Look at this verse. A joyful heart makes a cheerful countenance, but sorrow of the heart crushes the spirit. It's funny, man. Joy is evidently very important. And we don't talk about it a lot. I don't know too many sermons that have been on joy. I got a friend, and he is probably one of the most joyous people I know. His name's Eddie Thomas. And Eddie writes songs about joy all the time. And that's just who he is. And he's a big, tall guy. He's my friend. He's like really tall. He's got this long, curly hair. He's a great worship leader. And he just always smiles. It's like, I hardly ever see him where he's not smiling and he's not happy. And then there's another guy at Edgewood, Barry Thompson. And Barry Thompson, you rarely see Barry without a smile. And we asked Barry about it one time. He said, you know, one time I lost my joy, and I told the Lord if I could get it back, I'd never lose it again. And he don't get down, man, long. If he's down, he's not down long. He's up and he's moving. And he's finding joy in life. And I tell you, one of the things that I am going to start doing, and I've started doing over the last, really just a couple of days, is I'm praying that the Lord would give me joy, because joy will outlast your circumstance. Joy's not based on what happens to me. Joy is based on who I belong to. It says that a joyful heart is good medicine. You can be sick and feel better when you laugh. Because you can be well and think you're dying and your spirits are crushed. I've been both. Like I said, I'll admit I find it. But I'm learning, if I can get my joy, I can get my breath. And if I can get my joy, I can fight.
When he shows up, joy is delivered. When we have experienced him, we return with shouts of joy. There's verses all through the Bible about that. Let us come back with shouts of joy. Shouts of joy about our God. Shouts of joy about who he is. Think about this. We were meant to be joyful. Happiness, anyone can have. Happiness is based off what? Happiness. Don, if I walked over and I gave you $100,000, what are you going to be? You're going to be happy. Hey, brother. Yeah. If I started handing out $100 bills to the door, there'd be some people that get happy around here. Because something is happening. The pastor's giving out money. It's caterer's money, but the pastor's giving out money. It's based on happiness, right? Think about it. Oh, I had steak today. I'm happy. Oh, I am at the beach today. I'm happy. My kids have been good. I'm happy. My wife and I had prayer. I'm happy. What do y'all think I was going to say? I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm joyous. See, joy is a byproduct of knowing God. Happiness is a byproduct of happiness. Well, what happens when the happenings stop? Or when what's happening is bad? Then I'm depressed. Then I'm broken, right? But what if I got my joy? I can be with Jesus. See, the world can't explain it because it's not determined by our circumstance. If it were, it would come and go at every change in mood or event. The joy is not rooted in what? It's rooted in who? See, that's it. It's rooted in Jesus. It's rooted in God. I can have joy in the midst of pain. I can have joy in the midst of troubles and trials, in the midst of being broken, in the midst of being prosperous. I can have joy. I can choose it. It's just like everything else. I can choose joy. In the funeral home, in the hospital in Davis, it's the same thing. We can choose joy. There was a story about an old man, and he had been married to his wife over 50 years. 50 years. Can't imagine. But he'd been married to her for a long time, and she got really sick, and he stayed by her for a long time. Well, I can't imagine being married 50 years. I'm not even 50 years old. It's hard. So I'll be a ray of sunshine though by then, I promise. I'll be happy. And so this man, he lives a long time. His wife gets sick, and she's old too, you know, and she just gets sicker and sicker and sicker, and he stays by her side, and she passes away. You know, they say when you're married, the two become one. You see, when one of you dies, the one's left is a half, and that's exactly how it feels. And so he was there, and he was by the grave, and he had his kids around him. They went back, you know, the one final time where you go back and you stand and all the flowers have been put on. And he's standing there and he looked down and he said, all in all, it's been a good day. So you choose how you want to be. You can choose joy in the midst of pain. It's all in how you want to look at it. It's difficult. Yeah, he missed her. She wasn't hurting anymore. She was in heaven. She was, you know, all in all, it's been a good day. He's here with his family. They're mourning together. And he has joy. And the who doesn't leave his throne. The who is secured in his authority. The who is not bound by man. The who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So before there was a what that could make me happy, there was a who that exuded joy from his presence. And you know what? I don't overthink it, guys. I get asked a lot of questions about it. I don't overthink it. I don't know if your dog's going to be there. I don't know if your cat's going to be there. That's not on my paper. Okay? Maybe they are. I don't care either way. I don't wonder about if I'm going to be married. People ask me, am I going to be married there? I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be okay, though. Because I know this. If God created me, he made me. He created me to be with him. When I'm back in his presence, I'm not going to have any questions about other dumb things. All those questions are going to be answered. The Bible talks about when our faith is made sight. In other words, when the things that we believe, we're actually standing in front of, and we don't have to have faith in anymore because they're right there. You know what? I think it's just going to make sense. I think God's big enough that he's already got it figured out. And there's a verse out of Revelation 21 where it says he's going to wipe the tears away, and for the last time, and he's going to say, I'm making all things new. Well, when there's no more despair. I'm excited about the happiness that exists when there's no more sin, when there's not any more temptation to sin, when there's not any more sickness and pain. You know what? It's fine. I don't need every little thing that I've got here to be happy when I've got the joy. Now, this is what I find it interesting. I saw this verse today, too. Let's go forward a little bit. Jesus thought it a joy to die for you so that you can live through him. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith, who, for the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Anybody ever seen the movie Passion of Christ? Joy is not one word that I would ever use on that movie. That's what it says about Jesus. He said it was a joy. For the joy set before him. Number one, to honor his Father rather than his Father's will. But number two, by coming and dying for us and making atonement for our sin. It was his job and his joy, and he decided he would do it for us. And we say, oh, he don't care about me. That's the biggest lie you ever told. See, your circumstance doesn't determine your joy, but your joy can bring power to your circumstance. Your circumstance doesn't determine your joy. My happiness might. You know, things can go wrong at home. I mean, I can not be happy, but I can still be joyous. Because my joy can bring power to my circumstance. Jesus thought it a joy to rescue those he had loved and bring them back to the Father. And Jesus thought it a joy to sacrifice for your sin. He thought it was his joy. You know, in talking about joy, I got another clip that I want to show. If you would turn up the volume even a little louder this time, just so we can hear you better. But I want you to understand it's okay to laugh, and it's good. It's like a medicine, and to feel good is a good thing. And we want the joy of the Lord. In this video, it brought me great joy when I watched it. And we'll close with it, and then we'll have prayer.
Any worship pastors here tonight that do a lot of the worship music or the modern worship stuff? I think that's great. I just have a few requests for you. And I think I'm speaking for a lot of people here tonight. We're just trying to help, okay? I have 3 requests, worship pastor. First request is, it's Sunday morning. It's really early. A lot of us have not had breakfast. Can you one time in our life pick a song with a key we can sing in just one time? Something that a normal human can latch on to. Chris Tomlin, can you do that, please? I'm not Barry White, I'm not a Bee Gee. Can you pick something in the middle? I'm going to faint right now. Request number 2, I like the modern worship songs, but can we mix in a few more hymns? Because, at least with hymns, you know when the song is over. You used to be able to plan your day around a hymn, like first, second, fourth verse, go home. You know what I'm saying? Some worship songs, you don't know when they're going to end. It's a good thing you have a chair in front of you for support. Like, I can sing of your love forever. I can sing 10 minutes later. I can sing. Are we going to sing of his love really forever? I mean, I love Jesus. We're going to go. I got things to do. Well, I'm just going to lay here prostrate before prostrate. What is it, prostate or prostrate? I don't know. That R is so important. Oh, don't you judge me. You know some of you done that. Sing at the top of your lungs, let angels prostate fall. God's going, that ain't how it goes, Brother Tim. What are you singing to me? Angels, come here to sing about your prostate. Get over here. I don't know what's going on. Request number 3, worship pastor. You wonder why sometimes men don't sing a lot in church. I think I know why. A lot of new songs are written with the female's way of expressing love. And men and women express love differently. You know, and men, we just don't know how to get into it as much, you know, because it's all like, I want to feel your face. I want to touch your face. I want to get to know you. We're like, I mean, I love him. I don't want to touch his face. That's creepy. And that's fine. Just write a few songs that men can worship to, you know? Watch the game with me, Lord. Just sit here in silence. No talking or questions. Fall asleep halfway through. Guys would be going, that is so anointed. Oh my gosh.
Isn't that good? Yeah, see, it's good. It's good to let the joy come back to some things. You know, and not everything has to be so heavy all the time. Some things can be lighthearted and it's good. And sometimes we get so caught up in wanting to accomplish so much that, and I'm just speaking for me, guys, but we get caught up in running to accomplish so much and we're trying to do so much that we lose the joy of why we began in the first place. We lose the joy of why we got married. All of a sudden we don't look at our spouses and we lose the joy of our children. All of a sudden they're always annoying and they're never precious. You know, we lose the joy of why we even came to the Lord or why we even came to church. And it's just a hassle now. And it's just another song and it's just another sermon. And we forget that there's joy in serving Jesus and there's joy in coming together. Sometimes it's just good to come here and see everybody. Just love on each other. Just encourage one another. So I'm just saying, you know, reclaim your joy. Don't let the devil steal it over something so small. There'll be things that come. There'll be train wrecks in life. There's always two or three or four in your lifetime. Major train wrecks that happen. But a lot of the stuff is small. And a lot of things that we lose joy over that never happen to us anyway. We worry about things that never happen because the devil doesn't have to make them real. He just has to convince us that they could be. Is that a freckle or cancer? Do I have a headache or a brain tumor? It's all these things that come to our mind and they rob us of joy. And I have to be really careful. I really do. But just think about that. Let's pray. And yeah, you can.
This is really, after chicken y'all, you didn't finish the story.
Yeah, well, after it didn't go on the grill, I didn't get another chance. I was so good.
Okay, well, that's not what I want to say.
Okay.
This past week's been kind of tough on me for personal reasons, also for other reasons. I had some CAT scan. I had a CAT scan done on my head yesterday. They didn't find nothing in it. But anyhow, I had that done. Then I had to have a hearing test. And then this older lady I do plumbing for, her name is Mrs. Hall. She's 88. And she lives by herself. She's a widow woman. She don't live far from here. And she's just a precious lady. She's a good Christian lady. I love going over there. And yesterday, I did my door. It probably wasn't very high. Decimal probably low. And I went to her house. And seems like God always sends me over there when I need to go. Her bathtub is leaking. I fixed the bathtub. And that time when she got a little diamond paper, and that's where she writes out her check to me. And I always sit down and talk. She calls me Mr. Strickland. She's 88 years old. She calls me Mr. Strickland. And I call her with Paul. And she always asks how her church is doing. I tell her, and she gets talking about, we get talking about the Lord. And she says, you know, I'm 88. She can hardly walk. She can't go to church anymore. She said, but I got so much peace in me. I got so much peace. And she said, anytime the devil tries to steal it, bring it, steal that, I can just go outside and see something God has done. And you know, and she just gave me so much encouragement. Just not a few words. And sometimes that's all you need. Somebody like that. Just to,
It goes back to that quote too, you know, age gave me more than youth ever could. You know, I mean, she's 88 years old. She got to figure it out. Kathy has a secret to being joyful. Count your bad less and your blessing more. There was the hymn, you know, he talked about hymns, count your many blessings, and I sing that song 100 times and don't enjoy it particularly, but it made us sing it so many times. But ever so often I'll be driving, and it's just like, you know what, count your many blessings, name them one by one. And if you'll count your blessings more than your bad, your joy will